What's the Thaumaturge Guild? With these hollow devils, would you like to join our ranks? You're truly an anti-thing called Nation Traditionals, all Belhidian. A city founded by descendants of the first mage. The secrets of the illusory sorcerer entrusted you to the old who has been passed down from focus on the century-old future. The arcane magics of the ancestor. A freezing blizzard to halt corruption, a raging fire to cleanse the corpse, and a bullet lightning to explode the sin of more light. The tools employed in the those are good. What do you say, Bench? Ages? But deep in dark, you must prove our guild masters. Did your mother never learn? Look at what? Unlocked. What's this? Were you here the entire time? Greetings, child. I'm from the eldest, and I ordered to venture to wield the 5 Master Thaumaturge Guild. It summons to furnish our land with inmates to wield the Thaumaturge is unleashed devastating and the highest of magnitude. The lethal force of our spells far exceeds the destructive capability of any form of our fire. Lightning blizzard summon calls upon the expensive arsenal of offensive incantation and capital and to obliterate all manner of adversaries. Open your minds and of course, such a power is a price. Now willing to plunge headfirst into a forbidden chasm of secrets. For advancements in the art of come only ask you, are you prepared? Have my words lodged splinter a few minutes? We are patient. Return to us once you. Return to us. Brother. She can recite 3. But a simple task of keeping our name straight seems ever beyond grasp. Well, I find constant confusion effortless. My apologies. My merriment was. She just floated in. A confidence response. Your name? Very well. Huh? Let us mark it. My first give you a name to such enemy that proves suitable to designate an scepter and a shield. Instrument you shall need to focus and destructive force. Did you believe the initiation's over? We only have just begun. Trial. Wow, first spell is Blizzard. Grants Umbral Ice or removes Astral Fire. Acceptable complaints and have a desire for destruction. Now we shall complete your First thing. The fall of the Agris and Silvertail Fall not only drained the magnificent multi-layered lake, but it instantly crystallized the majority of the region of flora. As a result of mass quantities of cerulean fuel reacted with the ether released upon Midgorium death, what remains is a brilliant yet dead landscape akin to a twisted garden pocket with blooming goats. Alright. This is the last one. Astral Fire Armor are special status which allows Thaumaturge to constantly deal a devastating amount of damage while still conserving MP. Casting one of the fire spells gives a damage effect of Astral Fire, which increases the potency of MP and furthers the fire spells. At the same time, it lowers the potency of but prevents natural spells assisted from the gradual MP. Consistently casting one business spell gives the Thaumaturge the effect of Umbra Light, which decreases the MP cost of ice spells, which increases speed. At the same time, it lowers the potency of MP of fire spells. Thaumaturge progresses in level and the number of Umbra spells and ice spells which affect. Learning to switch between is the key to. Fire deals the potency. Wait. Shit. I hope I can't read that. Oh my god. You must have satisfied the look of the mage I was utterly vanquishing your foes. I form you. The purpose of this trial is to gauge your capacity for wielding torments and its inequality of limits, which bond the levels of aetheric energy following through the greater lesson. Remember this, for it's a basic law of arcane manipulation. As your experience grows, or so shall you receive your Thaumaturge endurance, the wellspring of your magic will might as well in response to moments of extreme terror and thoroughness. And you will find yourself seeking rare charms when you next crave your. And then you shall know the time has come for you to visit. Thunder! Alright, Thunder. Let's see, I get Thunder next. Thunder! I saw Luigi with the Thunder. Deal lightning damage with the potency of 30. Lightning damages. Shouldn't that have been a fire thing? It's weird. That's actually a lightning thing, not a fire thing. Thunder. 35 potency, and then thunder is 21 seconds. That's a weird duration time. Only one thunder spell induced damage over time effect per caster can be influenced upon a single target. That's a weird one though. Thunder. It's very weird. It's actually a weird one. Your power strains against the confines of your untried moral shell. Another trial must add. From this day forth, you will task and challenge to shape the teaching of a tome penned by the renowned my brothers, who has not once tasted bitter defeat, will instruct you in the vital lessons to begin the 4 extensive chapters of the compass. Much shall you learn about the threats of which the first chapter, the threat of intimacy, falls within the review. It is only fitting that one sort of verse to begin to approach the teachers. Allow me to teach you the permanent passage of the opening of Zumaya Ahem. The third of intimacy, how a magnificent as the opponent of the wheel, roaring flames, piercing eyes, and shocking bolts are matched not by the fist or sword of the spear, but of the brutally black so fearsome of which clothes the fish shattered. Knowing this, you look best. The last part makes me queasy, no matter how often I recite. The lesson, however, is essentially keep your distance from your foes. Apart from the agony of being hit or stabbed, or worse, you should have the time to completely and incarcerate with the enemy flailing his weapons at your person. Thus, the wise of the determined always strikes from afar. The farther you better. Now let us proceed into it. Take this dreadfish and sit it down into the abyss. And simply draw That's why you would ambush a creature or rush spells. Be sure to receive. He doesn't mind us conducting a trial himself, so. That was weird. Why is he doing that spell? Sure. There's nothing that's so tender about this. Nice doing business with you. Just completed it. What brings you to her? Here is a few himself a plump vulture. You'd be surprised at how many of these scepters wielding sorcerers end up sliced to ribbons by a beak of tongue. That's not sort of flesh I've tasted for it. My brothers, not again. Welcome back, Kenan. You seem to do well, both eyes. It's true that it is the most terrible feeling to have one casting interrupted by a heinous injury. It's one of the easier trials, if you ask me. Keep well away from the pointy, slashy, bashy things, and if you want to reach an end of an arc, just common sense. Fortune favors a fighter who flings fire from afar, is simply loving the look of the loathing leveled at me by a distance of duelists distressed by my daily downpour. We excel at offense, but fail miserably at defense. Our most effective strategy is to topple our adversaries with overwhelming force, but they have a chance to respond. Honor is for knights and the dead mages. Your studies appear to progress nicely. It won't be long before you dominate the battlefield as an avatar sorcerer of destruction. So it's true. Don't try to hide from me, Burger, or you, Banzo, or Basil, or Boha. Coco Boozle, what are you doing here? You promised you would teach me next. Yes, of course we did, but was more insistent. Why don't you brush me aside in hopes that I abandon my heart's desire? Why do you deny me? You shouldn't say hurtful things. You know how delicate Bigo is. Oh, already interesting story. That was Koku Bust, our youngest brother. He dearly wishes to become it like the rest of us, but simply isn't possible. The boy's aesthetic levels are pitifully low. We thought we've convinced him to fate's cruel quirks when he entered the Alchemist Guild, but he has yet to walk the path to such as a determination that he spends all his waking moments experimenting with alchemy and caution, seeking the method to which he can expand his capacity. It is obviously not your concern, but to the abyss with you. I mean that in the most encouraging manner possible. Well, that's a lot of experience. Yes, the aura of the power surrounding you is palpable. The glare begins to blind. Your lesson today will be equipment Go Him, and he will chapter into the threat of paucity. So you've come to learn the foot of a third eldest brother, have you? I promise, however. Let us read the second chapter, shall we, sir? And how massive rootless power we wield flamed over his eyes and tubes and lightning course through his stricken body. But such a desperation will walk what's been runs dry, flame sputters out, ice melts, and lightning sparks no longer. Know you this threat, and mind you the limits of the mortal vessel. Terrified isn't a damage who has been exhausted of his arcane reserves, is not but a man with a stick and a funny hat. But for mages squat. Should the battle find us lacking in some controlling the power, it requires an understanding of balance. The skills can tip one's direction. But they also required less. On the other hand, Thaumaturge throw fire states with seminar. Now with the concept as a balance efficiency across, I bid you forth. Pray to your best stay pub people. Slide 8. Alright. No, thunder. Thunder! Right. It's so much simpler to pose a question to a student. What action would you take if the final battle? Step percent is your death, your first food. Remember the first chapter. We do not close the distance of our enemies. We do not hit them with our clearly until replenishing your energy with a vile ether. And ether is the draught of the gods we determine. Indeed, as who practiced the arc. Well, thus it is unbridled fear that we received most recent report of a beast Matavius cavern. It is time we come for knowledge. Annihilate that measure benders and retrieve the cargo. Put their armored transport with response. I believe the wiki has additional quest. While you are busy, imagine you some samples of our blood, assuming you can draw a Alright, let's try this again. Oh, 12, 20, 30. But the side of... Sorry, I assume the vicious liquid as a beastman should be pleased. Wait, you left word for me as visit. I finally decided to begin my training. Good for you. Has kind enough to obtain a supply of unlucky blood for you. The alchemist acquaintance of mine explained how you would have been using substance in your research to create a mana. Naturally, we were the most interested in the results of such experiments, so you see, thus your work as an alchemist already puts you at a position to work alongside us. You need to become to be part of our family. That's right. So besides, the battlefield is a dangerous place, and our skills are not exactly suited to keeping others safe from harm. I see. This is but an attempt to dissuade me pursuing my true calling. I do not want to cheer you on from the safety of my workbench. I want... We just cannot... The thought of you being harmed, pray do not do anything foolish. I do apologize, brother. I sometimes forget how difficult it must be not having an absolute appetite for that. As I mentioned before, Kokobat is dangerously unsuited to the wielding of. Even with the proper training, he would be unable to cast magic that we can. Were he to attempt a forced manifestation of power, the strain of its reserve will likely kill him. But let us not dwell on the understanding. For you, on the other hand, are brimming with potential. Remain diligent in your studies and do not cease in your efforts to expand. Though most of us are 500 better that acclaim the title of Guildmaster, I am the eldest. I offer guidance to wish to explore the chasm of our discipline and instruction. It is my role to encourage the communication wisdom. The yawning abyss begins once more. Today, Kobesi will instruct you from the chapter entitled The Threat of the Superiority. You've come, then heed my word. It is how magnificent intimate power we wield. Flames sear air of ice crust. But now all the code enemy fury ignite. Your flames summon not, your eyes strike not, which once you cut away the peasant blows, your point is detected. The wise tournament does not engage in battle against opponents you cannot defeat. Kinda too late for that. A fine example would be avoiding conflict with Ulda, multitude of furious merchants, the soulless ravening creature. Yeah, I'm not gonna show it, but I'm like, I fought the giant turtle. I beat it, but I used a. This is why I have potions for a reason with the madness. Do you prefer apps recall that Ether you retrieve from? Well, a number of Iron Pillars have been arrived at the guild with the guild Dementor composed from the fallen measly vials we empty our just reward. Alright, yes, we drank the entire bloody box. But that's the point. But the point is that the guild cannot presently afford to pay such a sum. Then I pass on to you a secret of my life. Shameless weeping. It's not the fact. Wow. Did your mother teach you to? Running here. I'll tell you what. You dry your eyes out and I'll tell you. Alright, son. I know you're the one who chased down those Ben for us. I'll let it go this time, for your sake. I'm not angry. You understand? It's those 5 either as I take issue with. You can tell that the next time this happens, I'll have the price taken on their... Reform. The sniffing was a nice touch. You will, however, encounter foes who are unmovably. Take this recent request, for instance, while I am nominated to serve as next trial. The team of scholars has asked for DOMMY to destroy a cursed relic they've unearthed known as Mormon's Urn. While pottery is by and large immune to tears, it is our organization of criminals that would not normally know the word gentle understanding, rather than attempting to engage either game. I would suggest you neutralize the threat of your person. What would a little time sleep spell? And I have been seen traveling a sight. Find them in the I think he sleeps well. Good point. Let's earn. Oh, it's you. Then my brother's my friend. What have you got there? A couple of nosy rabbits. Come from? Where's the heal? Yeah, but I wish I could wield some sort of power. The King Alchemy hopes to creating some manner of mana amplifying elixir, but all the efforts have been natural. The results have been. I'll never be a pivotal. If I destroy it, then maybe my family will see it when people are with the urn. That piece of puzzle stuff. Yes, I am. I am Mormon. I am one of the knights. The voice said. If it was a nasty one that sealed me up here, well, if you would be so kind to open the lids, I would be more happy to grant you a wish. Anything you desire. Fortune, fame. Interesting, fame. Perhaps there's one thing. I'd like to have the estate power equal that of my brothers. Power, is it? A perfectly acceptable wish. In fact, I sense that talent, ability buried deep within your spirit. It would be a simple thing for me to turn it loose. What's more is there to think about it. Open. Am I really gonna stand there and let this happen? I think Momo had must be lying. What time were we leaving? Oh, weren't we supposed to break this urn? And that's that. This will be such fun. I mean, it was nice that you returned home after all this excitement. see you making a habit of dying. Psychopath. Further about Cockabooth. When I saw him about a few minutes, he seemed odd, well, odd and unusual. Was that your trial? Destroying dangerous and foolish to intervene with training. I shall have scold him most heartily. Such unpleasant aside, I am impressed that you claim victory in spite of your unexpected development. Teaching of a yawning abyss has served you well. With your experience and control of the system, I believe you are ready to add a new service to our scathe. The elemental naturally blessed, the force will prove itself. And I'm sure you're eager to test the incarnation efficiency. I shall grant you leave to return to your training. I pity the next hostility that crosses your path. Scathe. You're safe. I fear you have fallen victim to the Maid Slayer. Have you heard of the recent spats of gruesome killings that have taken place within your law? Each case involves at least one dead Thaumaturge, and every corpse is found bloody, battered, and utterly drained of it. Well, tidings, I'm glad to see you're alive. It is time for you to realize the final chapter, the Yawning Abyss, Chohobaho, the second youngest sibling, will read upon you the threat of perplexity. Are you once more prepared to pursue the pages of power and peril? Let us begin. And how many is the daunting power we wield? Flames pursue, ice fluxes, and lightning dances within its rings. But what terror descends when from all sides these rings close. Flames are smothered, ice occurs, and lightning is grounded. Know you this thread, and where you are multitude's foe. Is that point of passage really apparent? It would be more problematic, for example, should you meet a maleficent maid slayer and he or she proves to be multiple murderers. What it needs to be thickest of thrall, courageous to accompany him in a case with after a trial. Allow me to suggest the practical course. Town is buzzed with the news of yet more slaughtered Thaumaturges, their mutilated bodies found fouling in the waters of no fickle wells. I will have aid me in hunting down the culprits while the thrall is yet fresh. You may have tolerated your interruption of this trial the last time, but you are hardly the henchman he needs to clear such a... Your concerns are understandable, brother, but if we would allay your fears, I can introduce one who entered my employee. You have secured a service of them that would be needed. Being fine with learning lessons. Let us begin about your business before Chocoba has a change of heart. I'll be waiting for you. Was that? No time, we won't be hasty. I won't go with you, but with my delicate stomach, I fear I might contaminate it. Remember, you're looking for a... Promise me a sack of full gullet if I do what I best. And that's what... The blood is yet to touch. Slaughter must have been recent. The villains may yet lurk nearby. Return to the creek where the bodies lay, linger for time. I just will lure the mace into the ocean. And brutally company stand ready to... That was a pain. That is not, well, it is coercive, but the coercive possessed by the voicing escape from moment earn. It's feeding on the etheric energy of those who, You, my dear, manner rich, were to be next. I have wanted to absorb your delicious power since the moment we met. A pity that it has been such an amusing charade. However, did you see it do it? I am Kaiser. How can I not? It is time I destroyed you, Momo, and put a stop to these sinister killings at the eldest. I must take responsibility for my family's misadventures. A coward like you destroying me, your opening strike should have pierced my heart, but instead you aimed for the knife. Fear stays your hand. Fear is staying me will also slay your sibling. Thaumaturge. I shall, however, leave you with a pleasant thought. If it was fervent wish to amass this power. He craved the arcane strength to his side besides his brother as an equal. What a shame that he must now stand against you. It pains me to admit it, but there is some truth to his creative words. I surrounded the perfect opportunity to end this. I have betrayed my own teaching. Return to him and report the completion of your trial. I will remain here for time to come. He has advised me of your venture. It seems that Mage has slid away, but your stint with the swordsman was said as a chapter complete. Your time with the tome of teaching is at an end. Will you to absolutely this Adam was additional, but Kokabuki considered it extracurricular. Even if I dare to divide the diabolical depths, I do not yet deign to die. You understand? Well, my brothers, I have yet to reconcile the maelstrom within my own mind. The most fundamental lesson of the men, I slayed the creature where it stood. It was the most opportune moment to strike, the minimal risk, and the victory of all but assured. How many more will suffer from my hesitation and cowardice? I will most likely be some time, however, before Momonos resurface to kill again. Now that we have uncovered the deception, the void scent will seek a new hunting ground, where Chogabushi face is unknown. And though the respite may be brief, I must devote this time to consider the next course of action. Pray leave me to my musing. I saw you coming this time, but I've been more watchful since you told us of the dreadful business of the Chocobus. We must locate our fortunate young human as soon as possible and deal with him. But Chokabuki is not his usual unflappable self. It frightens me to see our eldest so indecisive. It terrifies me, in fact. Perhaps you might speak with him, help him banish this air of... the measures I might take to eradicate him from it. I would not do any call upon his colleagues. Now they would simply seek to obliterate my brothers outright. Our teachings from the yawning abyss allow us no alternative. This is, however, one tiny glimmer of hope. I've had a word that the scholars who requested destruction has returned from the tradition. Collect the findings regarding as you go these experts and beg permission to pursue their work. We're about a few more levels away from beating it. See the definite working moment that never I have penned any doubt the most. Myths are contrived by the mages at age and not the soul of it. When it comes to draining such a creature, one must have no time to start explaining it. But here, take my chapter and read it at your leisure. Interested in reading our book more? Of course. I would be pleasure to share from. Here's a first of mine on humble research. It tells that we become aware of creatures distant and dwells in nature. Right, we barely. How did you? Well, I suppose I should have. I've already prepared several sets. I said, my mom was true fast even among the oddities of voices. She is far too proud to make use of a tiny holes open, thus sent across of her spirit and press scorpio. The pass, raw single power, the cunning. With genuine and born desperation, the mages are now fallen asleep fashion and earned would drain in a prison. I believe she was receiving a gift of appeasement when Susan found her as drawn for her trapped in Escobar. Over the course of several centuries, the captive energy was to weaken and dissipate, allowing any survival instance to safely shadow the urn was never to be opened. Do so would release the ravenous voice and freeing her soul to enslave the nearest mortal vessel. As possession of this nature is irreversible, the only mercy afforded to such a host. Forcing her to prey upon such. This morsel of information may prove vital. It may only glimmer hope to prophecy. Quiet discord. I should hope. These pleasures haunt not but misery and despair. It seems we have no choice but to employ our tradition's approach. Thoughts in danger, but there is one solution that promises an alternative to killing Kubas. If we fail, however, it is likely to mean death for all. Who is this mad mage that possesses our eldest brother? What avoiding these threats or limiting the risk? It is not how it. But each passing moment draws even closer to our full strength. It pains me to even suggest it, but we should strike now, while the voice is yet feeble. I share the self-sentiment, but sorry though it may be, we must slay our enslaved sibling, and soon. My solution is thus: in return for releasing Kokopus from more heaven, I will offer Voice to chance to glut herself on my mana. Sacrifice will drain you, and such the feast will awaken a terrible magic. I wish no more thirst will be slacked before the spirits run dry, and a newly voicing, she will thus combine wrath of. How can we hope to prevail against a paragon of present potency? We have always avoided adversaries against whom we have no advantage. The fault lies with me. Even I am encouraged to such a voice and thought only the wisdom of certain victims. It was time we learned to courage to fight battles of unsure outcomes. That I must instruct you, and yet another chapter, the Dying Abyss, one that is most could never from newer members. Undertake the trial of fond wisdom and show my brother what. How can you ask such a poor thing from Kaiser, when even his guildmaster yet not? Arcane might you all possess is far greater than you believe. Cannot once you deem yourself prepared for lessons, meet me in the hall of respite. Waiting. But I'm confident that with the many and terrible trials you have bested, what's more, trial challenges you to accumulate knowledge of a single, but you must employ all tools of trust. Let's come to the trial. think this may be an excitement. So with the power energy of at our command, there is no doubt we can overcome. Perhaps there's a chance to recover. I need to reconsider. I see that we waste our potential. I would never have believed it, but with Papa Major. Imagine, my siblings, what tower enemies you might topple should you stand firm together. You inspired a display of magic cap has set in mind my brother with new possibilities. Let us return now to go discuss what. Let's see me. We shall make Chinkabani, Chocho Bezzy. Even Momo must wither before the onslaught of us. Before we engage with them. Perhaps some time needed to unlearn their ingrained inclination. Meanwhile, I suggest you herself is your fearless Thaumaturge is a beacon to us all. Fortune's fear has been at Vesper Bay. We cannot let this opportunity pass us by. Let's head to the race. And with you, a description of my brother likeness, Mormon mannerism, relay on. I've seen a lot of film who matches that description. We've watched my fairies come in. Some adventurers, so I reckon. I believe I saw a lot of a company of adventurers heading from lands of the mother. And Rod and a time. Well, actually, how to get it? I didn't know it. Seen the north of here. The little one blew up within here, bringing a blush to all young maidens' face, which he lacked in height. He certainly made up for in boldness. Chosen this as seduced by the succubus will be prepared as a vessel to hold her sword power. I fear they will have been slain. And for the adventurers, well, I think you can manage. Must find one of those unfitting. But before we voiced you were told to. This bastard said he would give us the and it's been granted alright. Please. He took my mix further north. I think I sense the presence of voicing, but it appears to things well in hand. In a moon drip. A fitting place for the battle to come. Finish my brother's colors. Will be a slave to my friend no longer. Shall approach no more as discussed. If she bargain proceeds smoothly, the said feast upon the preferred manna. After most full presidents in the realm, there is one delicious. Though after lecturing for so long, Alden should avoid this. I yet hold out as much whether. Everyone looking away. I am decided my fate await me. I have faith that no matter what becomes of me, you shall succeed in destroying Monroe, ending her threat. Enough. Oh, if it isn't the eldest of the cowardly Thaumaturge brothers. I thought you were busy whimpering under your bed, wishing that I'd just disappear. I've come to offer you. I know you seek aether energy, needed to sustain a true form, but how much time will you intend to waste on feeding on this lesser maid? Compared to these disturbing sorcerers, then you're trying to argue saying, my power is a blazing sun. Would you never prefer to take what I can give you? During my strength and assume your rightful appearance. I'm sure you think me a coward, but that is of no consequence. I only wish Cobus to return to us unharmed. You are wise. Alive, true body, true power is mine. Once more, I believe a stretch of you won't let you. Realize Van rescued him. You should have not bet what you are prepared to lose. I shall tell you the ether. Yeah, Lalafell powered, bien. So. Think you're awake, Spooky. Our sibling has yet to stir from us. Spooky. The ether channel has contracted. They are barely sufficient to sustain the flow of life force. If we do not increase his capacity for ether soon, his vitality will drain away completely. Man, the punch is limited, but it just might be enough. See, the bell didn't as expected. We will bear our brothers back to us. Pray we meet us there. That we might properly express. Baby. Seeking refuge in uncomfortable shadows of the abyss for so long, I have lost sight of the blazing glory of which Thaumaturge is capable of. The raw power audacity of the magecraft has freed my brothers and me from our self-imposed cowardice. I thought to himself at the half finished episode, but the sensation of hard-won supremacy is strangely satisfying. As future was, you are our brother and our respected colleague. I hope you never again underestimate the precious power you wield. You have exceeded all my expectations in recognition of your outstanding generosity. I shall impact you with one of the guild's most closely guarded techniques. Mana Word is a defensive weaving energy that blunts the force of any attack made against you. I'm sure you can understand why we do not teach this secret to every state hedgehog you who chooses our children. Now that you've experienced the deadliest threats and the joy that comes with their obliteration, I am certain you are eager to explore just how deep you might ascend in the May you struggle bring wisdom, and your wisdom bring courage. I, for one, look forward to hearing your future endeavors. Mana Word.